to me. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me, respectfully. You can keep...
Throughout the years, Hollywood has frequently cast Chinese actors in the roles of loyal companions. These characters often brought humor and displayed impressive martial arts skills. However, advancement beyond these supporting roles was nearly impossible. Bruce Lee came close to breaking this pattern when he made the transition from Hong Kong to Hollywood, but his promising career was tragically cut short. In the 1980s, Jackie Chan made his attempts to break into Hollywood, but initial endeavors proved unsuccessful. According to Jackie himself, the American filmmakers in Hollywood were mishandling the approach. Then, in the 1990s, Hollywood embraced the popularity of Hong Kong action movies, and one after another, these films found their way into the American market, imported from China. At first, they lavished financial rewards on Jackie Chan, but the demand exceeded his availability. Consequently, he often had to decline offers. It was during this time that bad Jackie Chan emerged, refusing to accept lower compensation than his good counterpart. Jet Li found his way to Hollywood due to Jackie's rejections and his own reluctance to play the stereotypical villainous Chinese character. Today, let's take a moment to reminisce about this master of frame-by-frame destruction on the big screen, where his intricate hand and foot movements were frequently showcased in exhilarating slow-motion shots. Golden Harvest, founded by Raymond Chow, played a significant role in introducing Jet Li to the world. Much like they did with Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee before, the studio had a knack for showcasing martial arts action from China to a global audience. In the 1980s, Hong Kong cinema was flourishing, with Jackie Chan rising to fame and film budgets soaring. However, Jackie Chan's ambitions to break into Hollywood and his unavailability for all of Golden Harvest's projects paved the way for another rising star. Enter Jet Li, a talented and charismatic individual who wowed audiences with his impressive kicks and moves in various tournaments. Jet Li's debut film was Shaolin Temple, which boasted a substantial budget of $200,000 back then. Its box office success is hard to quantify, but it grossed over $2 million in Hong Kong alone. The film also attracted a massive audience of 50 million during China's liberation, demonstrating its immense popularity both in Hong Kong and mainland China. The success prompted the announcement of sequels. Shaolin Temple 2 Inches was released in 1984, followed by the third installment in 1986. However, due to the demanding nature of the filming process and frequent conflicts on set, Jet Li found himself at odds with the director and ultimately declined to participate in the subsequent sequels. Reports suggest that the disagreements arose from payment disparities, with Hong Kong actors receiving higher compensation compared to their mainland Chinese counterparts. Initially, they were offered a symbolic bowl of soup, which was meant to be sufficient. However, issues arose, leading to physical altercations between the Hong Kong actors and their mainland Chinese counterparts. The disagreements caused frequent disruptions in the production, resulting in the incomplete filming of a particular segment. Jet Li, representing mainland China with its larger population, took a visionary stance and advocated for equal pay. The resolution of this conflict remains undisclosed, but it led Jet Li to refuse projects that offered a bowl of soup as payment. In his first, Shaolin Temple, film, he earned a meager $35. This peculiarity was characteristic of the Hong Kong film industry, where earning substantial sums was challenging. The late 1990s saw Hong Kong becoming part of China, further complicating such practices. Many Hong Kong companies faced financial troubles and declined. Between 1986 and 1991, Jet Li adopted a more low-profile approach, appearing in only 2 films. This was often associated with his alignment with the less favorable side in conflicts. During that time, the Hong Kong film industry was closely tied to criminal elements, causing challenges for renowned actors, including Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. Jet Li made a triumphant return to the silver screen in 1991 with Once Upon a Time in China, produced by Golden Harvest. The film became a massive box office hit, grossing over $4 million in Hong Kong alone. Its success led to a sequel released a year later, which earned over $5 million. The subsequent third installment also performed well, although it collected slightly less than $5 million. Following that, Jet Li took a hiatus from filmmaking, and a couple of sequels were produced without his involvement. However, he made a comeback in the sixth installment in 1997, which turned out to be the most successful film in the series. The production budget for this film was $12 million. Notably, during the interval between the Once Upon a Time in China films, Jet Li chose not to appear in projects that didn't align with his vision. One such example was his appearance in the 1993 film, Legend, which achieved box office success by grossing $5 million in Hong Kong and a similar amount in Taiwan, making it one of the top 3 highest-grossing films of that year. In 1994, Jet Li took on the challenging role in the film, Fist of Legend, which can be seen as a reimagining of Bruce Lee's classic, Fist of Fury. This project carried a certain level of risk for Jet Li, as it presented an opportunity for him to either succeed or face disappointment. Fist of Legend stands out as one of the most iconic and critically acclaimed films of the Hong Kong era. It showcased Jet Li in a character reminiscent of Ip Man, where the narrative juxtaposed virtuous Chinese heroes against malevolent Japanese antagonists, united by the presence of a mythical fighting technique. While not all Japanese characters were portrayed as villains, the prevailing tradition of Chinese cinema often portrayed Japanese characters as ultimately falling victim to the prowess of Chinese martial arts. Interestingly, Fist of Legend did not achieve remarkable box office success in Hong Kong, earning less than Jet Li's previous film, Shaolin Temple, released in 1982. However, when the film reached international audiences, it became a massive hit. Its widespread popularity and critical acclaim paved the way for Jet Li's foray into Hollywood. Not only did Fist of Legend receive accolades in China, but during its broadcast on British television, it also ranked as the 6th most watched Chinese film in history. Renowned Chinese film choreographer Yuan Wu Ping, impressed by Jet Li's performance, was later invited to contribute fight choreography for The Matrix. Although Fist of Legend initially faced some box office challenges, Jet Li made the decision to step away from its sequel, which was released without him and did not fare well. However, it was the film Black Mask that solidified Jet Li's global success. The movie even achieved a release in the American market, grossing $12 million. This marked a significant turning point, indicating that the time had come for Jet Li to search for a project that would propel him into Hollywood. He swiftly found such an opportunity in 1997. An interesting opportunity arose for Jet Li when he received an offer to play the role of the main villain in the film, Lethal Weapon 4. On the set, he found himself surrounded by a parade of stars, including Mel Gibson and director Richard Donner. For a whole year, they pursued Jackie Chan for the same role, but Jackie always declined to play villains, despite the high fees offered to him. At the time, Jackie mentioned that he might have considered the role if it involved a villain with principles, but he wouldn't portray a villain who redeemed his hooligan friends from corrupt Chinese generals. Lethal Weapon 4 encountered difficulties due to Mel Gibson's schedule. He had a limited 2-month window available, after which he couldn't devote as much time to the film. In the early 2000s, there was great anticipation surrounding this expensive production. It took only 7 months from the start of filming to the premiere, which was an unusually short time frame for the film industry. If someone like Stanley Kubrick had learned about such conditions, they would probably have shot themselves first, or perhaps shot the individuals responsible for such a brilliant idea of spending an enormous amount of money that went unused. According to various sources, the film's budget ranged from $120 to $150 million, but it only grossed $285 million. The studio likely continued to profit from ancillary releases and television sales, but the film failed to perform well in theaters. As a result, the planned fifth film did not materialize, and attempts to revive it continue to this day. However, luck was on Jet Li's side. He was considered the bright spot in Lethal Weapon 4. While Lethal Weapon 4 Inches faced disappointment, the Rush Hour series came along, and Jackie Chan received a surge of offers from Hollywood studios. Jet Li, too, was inundated with similar offers, often being approached after Jackie Chan's rejection. After fulfilling his final contract with a Hong Kong studio in the film Contract Killer, Jet Li made his move to Hollywood for several years. During this period, he turned down a major role in the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. There are two versions of events regarding this decision. According to one version, he was offered a higher salary for the film Romeo Must Die. At that time, no one expected Crouching Tiger to become such an impressive box office success. The second version suggests that neither film bothered him, but he declined due to his pregnant wife, who didn't want to be alone for an extended period. So, you can choose your interpretation of events based on your perception of Jet Li. Either he left due to greed, and director Hark Sui, who persistently pursued him, or because family became more important. For Romeo Must Die, Jet Li received a salary of $2.5 million. It was the first film in which cinematographer Andrei Bartkowiak worked as a director of photography following Lethal Weapon 4. The film had a budget of $25 million and grossed $91 million at the box office. The film faced harsh criticism due to the fight choreography. At that time, The Matrix had just been released, and everyone wanted wire work and flying people on screen. That's when Jet Li started to fly. Looking back, it may seem rather unimpressive, but at the time, it appeared outright comical. Nevertheless, it was a commercial success, and Jet Li's stardom continued to rise. He began to choose scripts from more impressive offers. The film, The Confrontation, had an interesting backstory related to its title. Originally, the movie wasn't called The Confrontation. It was intended to be Dwayne Johnson's debut film, so during the pre-production and production stages, it was simply referred to as Dwayne Johnson Movie Number 1. However, things took a turn when Dwayne received an offer to star in the second installment of The Mummy franchise. This created a scheduling conflict, as both The Mummy and The Confrontation were planned to be filmed at the same time. Ultimately, Dwayne chose to prioritize his role in The Mummy and left The Confrontation. Jet Li subsequently replaced him in the film, leading to a change in its title to The Confrontation. Unfortunately, the film faced challenges during its release due to conflicts between the director and the studio. Director Wong, known for directing Final Destination, claimed that many of his creative ideas were rejected during filming, and he was not allowed to collaborate with his preferred composer, Trevor Rabin. These disagreements contributed to negative test screenings and resulted in significant edits to the film, reducing its runtime by 40 minutes. With a budget of $50 million, The Confrontation grossed only $72 million at the box office. However, despite its commercial performance, the film indirectly led to the creation of the Transporter franchise, which propelled Jason Statham to stardom. Jet Li, on the other hand, pursued opportunities with Luc Besson and starred in the film Kiss of the Dragon, for which he received a salary of $5 million. This marked Jet Li's first project after his transition from China. The film showcased his impressive martial arts skills without relying on wire work, although it received some criticism. Kiss of the Dragon generated $64 million in box office revenue from a $25 million budget. While it didn't achieve blockbuster success, it was still far from being considered a failure. Despite initial plans for a sequel, it was ultimately cancelled due to the film's modest performance at the box office. After the success of the film, Kiss of the Dragon, Jet Li returned to China. While the success of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon caught the attention of director Jin, who offered Jet Li a role in his film. Despite the lower salary compared to Hollywood actors, Jet Li didn't refuse him. The film, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, had a budget of $31 million and grossed $123 million worldwide, including $53 million in the United States. The success of the Chinese film was largely attributed to Quentin Tarantino, who actively promoted it and even allowed his name to be used in its marketing materials. This helped attract American audiences, and the film topped the U.S. box office for 2 weeks. Jet Li's return to Hollywood came with the film, Cradle to the Grave, directed by Andrei Bartkowiak. In 2005, Jet Li worked with Luc Besson again on the film, Danny the Dog, which could have been his last project as an actor. The film was shot in 2003. In 2004, Jet Li was caught in a tsunami while in the Maldives, and communication with the islands was lost for several days. Due to the inability to reach the actor, some publications hastily reported his death, suggesting that his martial arts skills couldn't protect him against the catastrophe. However, Jet Li had been staying in a well-built hotel that withstood the impact of the tsunami and wasn't swept away. The actor was unharmed, but this event inspired him to establish a non-profit foundation to assist those affected by natural disasters. As for the film, Danny the Dog, it was made because of Jet Li. Luc Besson was so impressed by Li's ability to fight off a crowd of people in Kiss of the Dragon that he wrote a screenplay specifically showcasing that skill. Jet Li received a $7 million salary for the film. However, Danny the Dog turned out to be a commercial failure, with a budget of $45 million and a box office gross of only $50 million. Following this, Jet Li returned to China and starred in the film, Fearless, which also encountered post-production issues. Multiple versions of the film were released in theaters, some of which underwent editing. With a budget of $18 million, Fearless grossed $70 million worldwide. Later, on home video releases, 3 versions of the film were made available: the theatrical version, the director's cut, and an unrated version. So, many viewers who watched the film outside of theaters likely saw a version that hadn't been affected by editing. In 2007, Jet Li starred in 2 films. One was a Chinese production titled, Warlords, while the other was an American film called, War. Unfortunately, both films didn't achieve significant success. Jet Li usually refrains from making negative comments about his films in interviews, but he has mentioned that War was a disappointing project, criticizing the director and the shooting conditions. The film didn't meet his expectations and suffered from poor execution. In 2008, Jet Li appeared in 2 Hollywood films. In The Forbidden Kingdom, he shared the screen with Jackie Chan for the first time, generating considerable interest among audiences. The film grossed $127 million worldwide, despite mixed reviews due to the lackluster screenplay. Jet Li and Jackie Chan, however, were pleased with the opportunity to finally face off against a skilled opponent, deviating from the norm. The second film in 2008 was the 3rd installment of The Mummy franchise, in which Jet Li agreed to portray the mummy character solely due to the high salary offered. The filmmakers assured him that his scenes would be shot in just a few weeks. The film grossed around $403 million with a budget of $145 million but received negative reviews from viewers and didn't lead to a successful continuation of the franchise. There was an attempt to reboot the franchise with Tom Cruise, but it also failed to achieve success. In 2010, Jet Li appeared in the film, The Expendables. There were many rumors surrounding this film. It seems that initially, a well-known Belgian actor was approached for the role, but he declined due to its perceived lack of significance. However, the filmmakers claim that the character was simply reworked, and Jet Li ended up portraying a different role. In the future installments of the series, Jet Li was hesitant to participate, but he was offered higher compensation, and he agreed to make brief appearances. The first and second, Expendables, films were highly successful at the box office. However, the third film didn't perform as well, with a budget of $90 million and a worldwide gross of only $214 million. As a result, the release of the fourth film has been delayed significantly, with reduced budgets and a greater focus on Jason Statham. During the filming of the second installment, one of the stuntmen, who was Jet Li's double, tragically lost his life. Jet Li generously donated $750,000 to the family of the deceased, but he typically refrains from commenting on this matter. Apart from the Expendables series, Jet Li occasionally makes appearances in various Chinese films of varying quality. However, these occurrences are rare, and it is believed to be due to his diagnosed hyperthyroidism in 2010. Poor quality photos of Jet Li have frequently surfaced online, leading to premature reports of his demise. Upon learning of his premature obituaries, Jet Li would promptly release higher quality photos, dispelling the rumors. His most recent work to date is a small role in the film, Mulan, released in 2020. At the age of 60, he may not appear as healthy as desired, but he is not yet ready to retire from the industry. He attributes his infrequent appearances on the big screen to his charitable activities, which consume much of his time and energy. He has his own foundation and serves as a representative of the Red Cross in Asian countries, as well as a goodwill ambassador. Therefore, if his illness has affected him, it may not be as severe as often reported. Hyperthyroidism is not a life-threatening condition, although it can complicate one's life. Perhaps in the future, we may still see him in another film. Jet Li is currently alive and in good health, focusing on his career. Despite his health challenges, Li has remained active in his career, including ventures in voice acting and producing. Presently, he is promoting health education, particularly for individuals with chronic conditions. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative or entertaining, please consider giving it a thumbs up or hitting the like button. Your support helps us reach more people and spread the word about our content. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for future updates and be sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more exciting content in the future. Thanks again, and until next time.